Good evening. I'm your host, Chan Kruma, and we will be discussing several things tonight on season two of the Frontline Black News. This is episode one of season two of the Frontline Black News. So we got through a whole season. Yay.
All right.
With the new season of the Frontline Black News. And like I said, I'm your host, Chan Kruma, and I'm joined with our West Coast correspondent, Shabaka Sankori of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, of which I am the co-host of. Greetings, brother. How
Right.
are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Brother Che. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of ripping and running and what have you. And, in this age, it's starting to catch up with me a little bit, but I'm all right. And then also, too, out here in California, they got initiative campaigns going on. A couple of the measures is trying to ease homelessness. Another one is to put more funding off into the pandemic, scamdemic, plandemic, to fight it allegedly, but what I'm going to do is like you do is I'm going to have to sit down there and go over these issues with a toothpick, with a fine tooth comb. And those are just basically the title summaries, up on it. But I'm going to be reading the text of those issues, say within the next couple of weeks. We'll definitely have it on Frontline Black News. We'll definitely have it on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And once again, we are still waiting for you Biden supporters to call us Tuesday night, 516-418-5996. But we're yet to hear from y'all. And we understand, and you're looking at the high-ass price of gas that's going astronomical. It's over $6 in the Bay Area, from what I understand, out of Los Angeles. Reliable sources are telling me it's well over $7, and it's approaching on $8 a gallon real fast.
Wow, that's crazy. So on
Yes,
episode
sir.
one of season two of the Frontline Black News, we will be discussing several things tonight. The first topic is Tangibles 2022, Biden's Equity Act for the LGBTQ plus is advancing through Congress. So we're still waiting on you Biden supporters, as General Shabaka just alluded to. We are still waiting on you Biden supporters. Where are our goddamn tangibles from the Biden administration? It's been
Right.
two Biden, and we ain't got nothing tangible. But we were told that he was better than the Orange Man, and we were so much better off with him and Kamala Harris in office. So we're still waiting on you Biden supporters to tell us what tangible benefits we're getting from a Biden administration and why we should even vote in the upcoming midterms.
Yes, sir.
Next topic is Ma'Khia Bryant killer found not guilty. Deshaun Watson found innocent. Bill Cosby in the Supreme Court decision. Brittany Griner, WNBA player, detained in Russia. We're
Okay, General, you're a little bit inaudible right there.
Yeah. And Jussie Smollet found guilty. And Grove Street Cafe closing. Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps.
Yes, sir.
So I will get us started. Tangibles. This is the year of tangibles. Demand something for our vote. We're going to vote at all. And any politician that is seeking your vote, demand something for your vote, Black family. Giving your vote away because the Democratic Party or the white-owned media told you to go out and vote. Vote because you have an agenda, and vote because you're getting something tangible for it. So, by the name
Yes,
of
sir.
a brother by the name of Tariq Nasheed came up with Tangibles 20 back in the year 2020, and we're gonna go quick. Screen. You can get on it. I don't know whatever. Stop it. I'm on the air. Okay. And the 2020 presidential elections are and foundational Black America reject the 50-year malign neglect policy that has been implemented by the political system. This malign neglect policy mandates Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned vague and non-specific terms, lumping foundational Black Americans in the minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc., has only hindered Black Americans as a group, providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, foundational Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are met, specifically by politicians who are seeking a vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits, specifically for us. We do not want trickle down, secondary benefits that are provided for every group. Every group has not been systematically marginalized and franchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups that often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians for tangibles, specifically foundational Black Americans, simply will not vote for them. Make spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020. So now it is the year of 2022, and we are still demanding something for a vote. So 2021, it was Tangibles 2020, and now it's Tangibles 2020 in the year of 2022. So any politician seeking your vote, including myself, demand something tangible for your vote. Stop just giving me thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts on that there, Brother Che. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, the only thing as we stated all along, go ahead, cut the goddamn check, okay, is because you're getting ready to put all this money off into the Ukraine. They're going to have 1.3 million of these motherfuckers coming over here. Quite naturally, of course, we already know where they're going to set up their businesses and what have you. Once again, in the Black community, once again, if we come out there and say, let's do something for ourselves, or you guys are Black racists, you need to forget and this, that, the other. Okay, great, fine, beautiful. We're still pushing the same fucking narrative. Tangibles 2022, Tangibles 2023, Tangibles 2024, all the way to Tangibles to 2100. We built this goddamn country. We are marginalized. We are taught to hate ourselves, is because I was looking at a clip. I believe it was from a show called the Montel Griffith Show. Her brother was a talk show host in the late 90s, the early part of the 21st century, and they had Sister Shahrazad Ali on there. And they had some coon up there trying to debate with the sister. But Ms. Ali, is heavy. Ms. Ali, you know what I'm saying, is very, very proud of where she comes from. And so, therefore, the Negro was getting up there, well, I don't need her to tell me what to read, call the woman a con artist and all this old shit. And this pacified, Europeanized, as Dr. Khalid Mohammed said, half-baked, half-fried, bootlegging ass Negro is sitting up there trying to appease the oppressor as opposed to acknowledging of what the fact is really what's going on. And the fact of the matter of what's really going on is that we need to do for ourselves. We need to have our own food sources. We need to grow our own food, because all this processed shit that they are selling you in these goddamn grocery stores is designed to kill us. Now, The chain reaction that you're going to have on the gas prices going up here, your cost of your produce is going to go up. Your cost of your food is going to go up. The cost of toilet paper, essential for body hygiene, is going to go up. Okay, and we're not talking about your recreational activities such as going to the movie theater, such as going to concerts, things of that nature right there. Those are going to be getting phased out as well too. And then I just heard from conservative media earlier this evening is that Biden is trying to go Bitcoin for U.S. digital
Yeah.
currency. And there have been some of our well wishers and some of our supporters of Shabaka's Black Experience, Enhanced, and Frontline Black News who have mentioned, what are you going to do when they take away the damn money? Okay, what are you going to do when they want to put all this shit on credit cards, debit cards, and what have you? That's easy to control you. They'll just simply deny access to your card or come up with any other type of flimsy ass shit and what have you. They still pushing this gay ass agenda, such as with Jussie Smollet. What's that clown's name, man, who got convicted in Chicago? He just mentioned Jussie Smollett or Smollet or whatever. So yeah, so he got 6 months in a Crook County jail. And then from what I've seen on news clips, he's walking out the court screaming and hollering about that he will not commit suicide, in a Crook County jail. You know what I'm saying? And he keeps yelling it and what have you. And it's kind of like that they had his ass programmed. He staged this stupid ass shit to get more sympathy for him. It's probably Hollywood and Los Angeles and this propaganda, trying to market this trick.
Yeah.
Let me see on that. And then also, too, with our unhoused neighbors here in the Sacramento area, in the Oakland area, as I stated, that I went through Panthertown recently. And once again, people, we're the main ones out there. We're only making less than 20% of the population in California, but we're making up more than 51% of the homeless situation. And it breaks my heart that each time I pass the freeway, expressway, or highway, or what have you, 8 times out of 10, you're going to see a brother standing out there with a sign talking about that he needs help. Okay, so this is why we got to change the narrative and homeschool our youth. Okay, still get your hustle on, but become innovators. Instead of going out there dealing, with illicit trades and what have you, start some plumbing businesses. Start some auto mechanics apprenticeships. Get some high-tech training going on, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so we can catch up with the 21st century. It's because everything is changing rapidly. They talking that bullshit, well, the Russians are going to be hacking your telephone and all that. Hey, man, that's 50-50. As far as I'm concerned, all you cockazoids are in bed together.
Yeah.
Straight out. And then too, and as a friend of mine had said, yes, sir.
We are joined by Lady Che. So
hey, Lady Che. I hope you're feeling well. I saw your post earlier today saying that you wasn't feeling all that hot. You feeling better?
Yeah. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay. All righty. Okay. That's good. The only thing creeping up on me is old age. Okay. And through the law of physics or biophysics, I'm still going to say the same thing, to leave it on down to the generations after me. I talk about the things that I've lived through and witnessed. They try to smear a lot of it. They try to erase a lot of it from history. Now, also, too, for you men who are confused about your sexual identity, the Ukraine, the head of state over there, I don't know his name, can't pronounce his name, and the hell with his name. But he's saying that they keeping all males in there, to fight the Russians in Ukraine. So they told dude you know what I'm saying, who cannot ovulate and who cannot menstruate, and he can go get all the operations he want and whatnot. They told him, no, motherfucker, your ass gonna be getting up there picking up these arms, man, to put some goddamn work in. That shit you talking, man, it ain't happening. So I thought it was quite humorous. So therefore, you motherfuckers over there in Silicon Game Valley, which is about 100 miles from me, shut down the goddamn page again. You know what I'm saying? Because once you do it, that only thing that does is just prove my point is right. And excuse my language, Lady Che, I have to say this here, to get the point across. Me, no disrespect or to any of our women listeners and what have you. I'm talking about the ones with estrogen. For all you dudes out there that are confused about your identity and what have you, go get you some pussy. You might find out you like it. And that is spelled Pussy. And yes, I said it, and I approve of the message, and I do not mean no disrespect to any of the women, but I'm just being blunt out there about it. It's because it is population control, in my opinion, off of the research that I've done. I really do appreciate Brother Che and Kruma of the excellent methods that he has for introduction, body, and conclusion. I've been extremely busy, for these last few months, as they all know. And unfortunately, I do not have $100 bill to show at this time for you confused individuals to prove your bona fide last menstrual cycle. You see what I'm saying? But I'll be back up with it, in a couple of weeks. I'm kind of knocked down a little bit, but, got to get right back up, and keep on pushing, to quote the words of Curtis Mayfield in a group called The Impressions of the 1960s. And once again, the tangibles. Cut the goddamn check.
Period.
Exactly.
Well, my thoughts are hold your vote and hold it like you hold your Swilla. Don't give it up until they got something to offer you at this point. I mean, they've already disappointed you by giving your reparations. When I say your, I mean in jest, that means ours. To everybody but us. So everybody but us has gotten something that has benefited them. We get fucking symbolism and motherfucking platitudes and whatever, and it's nonsense. So I'm sitting it out. I don't even in my own state. I don't see anything currently for this next little portion of the election. What, a couple months, like a month or two. Yeah, not the one, right?
No, that's in 2023.
Right. With that being said, my vote. I'm holding my vote. There is nothing to. There's nothing to. I'm sorry. There is nothing to vote for right now. Everybody in the city is a disappointment. They're wannabe fuck. They're not black no more. They're black on the outside, all white on the inside, caping for the white man. You know what I mean? His money and shit, and that's not tangible. That's not tangible. It's a shame that the system of white has your money in their hands, dish it out, and put us in a situation where pretty soon, like in a year, less than, it's gonna be motherfucking feast or famine, right? And right now, it's looking like famine.
Oh,
There's
yes, indeed.
the tax breaks, none of that shit. The white people are totally opposed to keeping the tax in their pocket and letting you, get some gas and shit. They're opposed at that. And whereas we'll use a broad, ambiguous terms, people of color in the government are like, no, I would really like a break on these gas prices since they're so fucking high, and they're only gonna get higher. And this isn't our doing, which it should have been our doing to get in their ass to give us what we owed. Instead, the fucking Ukraine and Russia and everything else is getting another fucking another pull at embarrassing us, taking from us, whether they thought so to do so or not. whether it's intentional or not, we're suffering at the hands again of white supremacy. And it's only going to get worse. Everything is on oil, the price of oil, and nobody is ready to fucking just start producing more shit because Russia is sanctioned. You know what I mean? We gotta look towards Venezuela and all this other shit. And if I was other countries, I don't even know why I would even want to help. Considering how we the black people that come from there. So I would want to help, but it's gonna be famine here shortly. So I would suggest this family start stocking up, learn to siphon gas, put it away, start stealing water, whatever you got to do, because it's going to be very critical. You might have to not just buy from Amazon ever again for a while. Just go down to basic necessities of what you actually need and live within the means of that, because it's going to get real fucking ugly. Even if they go to Bitcoin or fucking whatever crypto money,
Right.
it's not actual physical tangible dollars in your hand. It's money that is controlled by some other fucking entity and can be deleted at any given point in time. You don't have access to it.
Facts.
So you're stuck. So you might as well start cashing out and stacking it and looting it under your fucking pillows, walls, fucking burying it with a body. Do whatever you need to do, because it's about to get real fucking stupid here shortly. It's gonna be like Squid Games, like I've been saying, except with bums, addicts, and motherfucking politicians. So get prepare
Right.
yourself like war with white people. White
Facts.
pick a side.
Facts.
You know what I mean? There you go.
And then also too to reinforce, what Lady Che was saying, as you know, old Biden has got these centers where they're giving up crack pipes, drug paraphernalia, needles, anything for a motherfucker to take his mind off of what's really going on. And looking at the homeless population, out here in California, here on the West Coast, is getting very, very sad, and I'm very concerned about the hygienics of people that I'm coming across, guys, off in my age group, out here homeless, pushing a fucking basket, you know what I mean? Gentleman asked me the other day, who was wrapped up in a blanket, is because it is kind of cold here in Northern California. And because, I'm seeing clouds coming in off the west, which is meaning off the ocean, but it's not as cold as Denver. And young man said, "Hey, man, could you please bring me out of Arizona iced tea?" And I says, "Young brother, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I can't do it because you have one thing I no longer have. That is youth." Okay? So with him being 32 years of age, as he related to me, he still has a chance. You see what I'm saying? He still has a chance. And then also, too, the dumbing down of our youth, particularly those born, in the late 80s and the 90s and what have you. Now, if you ever saw the movie, I think Lawrence Fishburne's first big hit, where he was in a starring role, I believe it was called Deep Cover. And there's a scene in there where Lawrence Fishburne is applying to be a police officer, and he's asked by this white man, "Do you know the difference between a black person and a nigga?"
Yeah.
And the movie goes on about, how they smuggling all these drugs into the black community. But the white fella, I forgot his name, had made a statement, "Well, the crack babies are mainly your people." So this is in the 1990s black family. The crack babies are now the ones who are in their 30s, late 20s, and what have you. So we might be seeing some type of side effect of that, as they were conceived and grown up, health issues, mental issues as well too. So I'm just putting that out there. And then if any of our listeners out there, anybody, who's checking us out, definitely hit us in our chat box on some feedback on that. Now,
Yeah, so
when the yes, sir.
I gotta move us to our next topic.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so our next topic is y'all President Biden is not only is he giving 18 billion to the Ukrainians, but now he is trying to pass uh, LGBTQ Equality Act.
Oh man, wow.
Oh my god, my heart.
So I'm gonna share the screen. Give me one
Mm-hmm.
second.
Okay, General. You're frozen at 16:59 on my end. I'm gonna leave and sign right back in.
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this bill goes on to read: advancing equity. Review of the Biden administration efforts in its first
Oh, okay,
year
there you are.
to implement a racial equity agenda. This is something else. Excuse me. A roadmap of policy solutions to bend the arc of racial justice toward any, equity. No, not equality. Equity in year two of the Biden administration and beyond. This report reviews the Biden administration's key efforts and accomplishments to advance equity in its first year and outlines future policies needed to build a better and more dynamic nation that equitably respects the rights and meets the needs of all Americans.
Now here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, so nothing specifically, for the descendants of slavery here in the U.S.
No.
Okay. Alrighty, so once again, there they go with that same bullshit, that they did in the 70s, figuring that the only way that we can get ahead as a people is to sit out here and to deal with these other groups. And of course, Brother Che, to echo your words, you other groups go out and hold your own motherfucking nuts. Shit.
Is this the thing that
We can't do it no more.
No.
talking about with the
We cannot
fertility?
do it no more.
Yeah,
And then also too, for the brain dead out there who thinks that we're all the same, we're all Americans and all this old type of shit, go get educated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of being miseducated. Well, man, I was born here, man. I was born here. I was an American. Yeah. Tell that to Emmett Till's family. Tell that
sorry.
there to Ahmaud Arbery's family.
Right. I apologize, Black family. I had the wrong article. So, the actual article says Human Rights Campaign celebrates advances in LGBTQ plus policies 1 year into Biden Harris administration.
Oh, man. Okay, now here we go. Okay.
More regulatory changes still needed to ensure lasting change, break down long-standing barriers to LGBTQ equity. 1 day before the first 1 year anniversary of the inauguration, and Vice President Kamala Harris, the Human Rights Campaign, or HRC, celebrates the advances that they have made in LGBTQ rights under the Biden Harris administration. Since day one, Biden Harris White House has taken concrete, meaningful steps to reverse the anti-LGBTQ plus policies of the previous administration, while also working to ensure government agencies don't discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, close the gaps in immeasurable immeasurable outcomes for marginalized populations and increase the LGBTQ plus representation at all levels of government.
Wow.
We
That's
at the
very,
Human
very
Rights,
interesting.
yeah, we at the Human Rights Campaign want to thank President Biden and Vice President Harris for their principled and committed policies in support of LGBTQ plus rights, said HRC interim President Joni Madison. For a community that is too often under attack from a variety of regressive, and self-serving actors, having strong LGBTQ plus allies in the White House and a comfort to the community, rolling back discriminatory practices or policies, providing affirmative, non-discrimination protections to appoint LGBTQ plus to prominent positions, to continuing to share the message of the importance of LGBTQ plus inclusion and equality. This administration has been as consistent advancing the cause of progress as any we have seen. Still a lot more to be done. We at HRC look forward to working with the Biden Harris administration and partners in Congress to ensure that essential reforms, including the LGBTQ plus protections in the Equality Act and the voting rights and the voting rights safeguards currently before the Senate, become all the land. Hell no.
Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read no more. But yeah, Biden's doing for everybody else but us, including
Exactly.
you.
Yeah. Now, in the spirit of the Montgomery bus boycott, General,
Hmm.
I think that uh, every black person here in the United States, okay, and we got to do it, black family. We got to do it because this point was proven in 1955. You see, that's the beauty of Sankofa, of going back to tradition is the first step forward.
Yeah,
With this goddamn high ass price of gas, if every black person, I don't give a fuck what you do, medical doctor, stockbroker, shipping and receiving clerk, custodian, janitor, McDonald's employee, take a couple of goddamn days off. And let's see what effect that there would have on the U.S. economy. And I'm willing to bet you dollars to donuts it will cause a madhouse. Is that when the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, if I got my facts correct, had started the Montgomery bus boycott, I believe it was December of 1955 to December of 1956. The damn Montgomery bus company damn near went bankrupt. Okay. And I even think that there was some litigations, down there in the court against the black community and Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy in particular for staging such an event. Once again, white America, you do not want to acknowledge the atrocities that you committed to people of African descent, not only in the United States, but the whole goddamn Western Hemisphere. And you honestly believe that we are supposed to sit up here and forget. Let's look at the great Frederick Douglass, who was the product of the raping, slave trading, pedophile, and of course, his black mother. The raping, slave trading, pedophile did not regard Mr. Douglass as his offspring and was beating him with a whip. And Freddie D got tired of getting hit with the whip and he defended himself, and he had beat this son of a bitch to a pulp who richly deserved it. And then, of course, Freddie D, realizing of what he did, he had to get up out of town. So what
Yeah.
Freddie D did, you know, he went down there to, I believe, what is it? It's somewhere in Maryland. I know he was a slave in Maryland. And he stowed away on a ship. And so then Freddie D, you know, became a sailor. You know what I mean? And Freddie D did wind up in San Francisco Bay at the time of the gold rush, where he had started, you know, one of his many publications. And he had stated that when they got the gold fever here in California, and everybody was going up there to El Dorado County and Colma, California, which is off of Highway 49. That there is where the gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill. And they got a state park up there right at the gold discovery site. And see it up on my wall, see it up on the like page for Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, where they got a California state historical monument there in Placerville, with a guy or a dummy being hung from a rope at a historical spot called Hangman's Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could pull it up on the Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced like page on Facebook, Brother Che, if you have it.
Okay.
If you have access to it, and show the world of it, and then you will see down there in the left-hand corner, in the lower left-hand corner, is going to say California State Historical Landmark, Hangman's Tree.
Wow.
And then, oh yes, oh yes. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right here is showing about this gold, which is a precious metal. And as Julius Malema had put up there on one of his recent posts, now is the time to unite all of Africa.
Yeah.
But Professor PLO Lumumba has stated up on his page. And then when he had made the statement that the spending budget of the Coca-Cola Corporation, multinational conglomerate, is that their budget is greater than a gross domestic product. I believe he had mentioned the Central African Republic. And of course, as we all know, that what the GNP is, gross national product, gross domestic product, is a universal law and principle in the science of economics of how much money is spent in any given society, rather if it's a city, a neighborhood, a state, or a country.
Okay.
See? And what it is that the rest of the world cannot keep raping Mama Africa.
Right.
You cannot keep raping Mama Africa. That's because with Mama Africa being the beginning point of the original man and woman, what would happen if Mama Africa just said, guess what? I'm going to shake the whole world. I'm going to kick out some more disease. I'm going to kick out some more famine. Except this time, I'm going to do it worldwide. Why do you think the hurricanes start off the west coast of Africa and wind down there in the Caribbean? Same routes that the slave ships took.
Yeah.
And then traveling through the South, as you know, Brother Che, I looked at the weeping willow trees of Florida. I looked at the weeping willow trees going through Louisiana and Texas. But I crossed Alabama and Mississippi at night, and I made damn sure that the car was gassed up and didn't stop for shit.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't stopping for shit. Okay?
Right.
Shabaka Sankore said it. And then also too, for those, my haters and critics out there, why Shabaka, you never show yourself? Why you show yourself very, very few times? Because over the years, when I look at these death threats that I get and the shit that comes up on my wall and what have you, I'll be a goddamn fool to do it. But you all will see me. Believe me, you
Yeah.
will. I'm gonna make it a point that you see me. And then of course those who are familiar with me already know what I look like anyway.
Right.
Say. And then of course you got all these agents up on this shit, these fake ass profiles that I bust on a regular basis. Oh, and by the way, Zuckerberg, I'm just putting it out there for your stinking asses that me, a few of the homies I got on the East Coast, I'm sure Brother Chad has been hit with it with these fake profiles of these women talking about look at their nudie pictures and all this old shit. I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that half those profiles were from men. Okay. And then also too that half those profiles were viruses to fuck up your computers, your laptops, and your cell phones. And I'm just putting it out there. So suspend the goddamn page again. You know what I'm saying? And then here's some shit from Pine Interest. We found some pins you might be interested in. That's the type of shit that I'm talking about. Okay. Then all this goddamn advertisement that you tricks from Google come up there with. When I says I keep clicking, not interested in this ad. Ad is inappropriate. It seemed to me that after 2,000 goddamn times in a row, you motherfuckers will get the message that I don't want to be bothered with none of your fucking advertisement. And even a guy, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Che, Michael Chang, a guy who was running for president in the primaries, who had made the statement that with all the money that Google, Facebook, raggedy ass Tweety Bird over there off of 10th and Market Street in San Francisco, Salesforce, Yahoo, Pine Interest, Reddit, all these spammer scammers and shit like that. They're making so much goddamn money. They should be sending the whole fucking world a damn check on a monthly basis for $1,000 for using your personal information. Yeah, I said it, and I approve of the fucking message.
Yeah, his name was Yang, Andrew Yang.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not Chang. Yeah, yeah. Okay, my bad. So I appreciate the gentleman, for bringing that observation out there and what have you. Also, too, I want to talk about this ass scratcher by the name of Eric Adams, mayor of New York.
Before you get to that, Shabaka,
yes, sir.
To get to Shabaka, before you get to that, we got more topics to get to. So,
absolutely, yes, sir.
About the Equality Act that Biden is in the process of passing.
I think
by all means.
I think it's bullshit, really. It's just like with about DeSantis talking about white people's fragility and don't want anybody to hurt over anything, because everybody's so fragile and shit. But nobody gives a fuck about our feelings, right. So we don't get any protections like that. It kind of goes along with that. I feel like like I said before, LGBTQ, whatever. Sit it the fuck down. You don't get to coin everything. This is not for you. You need to stop. You need to just stop, man. Because altogether, we know that you're not black first. We know that. We know it's this game for you. We know you got a fucking agenda. We're aware. But for once, sit it the fuck down. This isn't your time. You know what I mean? Everybody has gotten away with this shit, Black Valley. That enough's enough. I don't really give a fuck about anybody's fucking feelings. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck about our feelings. They religiously keep taking from us, and they let other people take from us. They let other people humiliate us. They let other people walk all over us. When are we gonna let this shit keep going on? You know what I mean? What does it take? How bad do we really want it? You know, how bad do we really fucking want uh, our change to go in our favor? Us not to get killed by the police not to drugs in our neighborhood and guns and shit. Please, you know, when are we gonna fucking have enough to do what we need to do? You know, they're changing things in a way that we cannot compete with, and they're making it worse to where we're already at the bottom. We're staying at the bottom. We might as well just be the road and the dirt map for them to keep walking all over us. I'm not having it. I don't want that.
Right.
I want it for whatever legacy I leave behind. I don't want to have to wait 20 fucking years and the next two generations to pick up the slack that we've been working on for the generations before that. You know what I mean? I
Right.
think it's fucking, we got to stop it now, right now, benefit from it right now while we're alive. Yes, everything can trickle down to our legacies. You know, we all have something to leave if we go and fucking get what belongs to us without fucking asking. They're not responding the way we want it. So we might just have to, like I said a year or so ago, get fucking aggressive. Stop asking and
Yeah.
tell them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
Whatever,
damn right about that.
everything is ahead of us. If we would have, a lot of we woulda, shoulda, coulda, you know, have happened. Now what? What is the plan, family? What can we do now? Like we're about to be severely motherfucking destitute. You know what I mean? If they don't figure out
Mm-hmm.
their energy, how we're gonna get gas, how we're gonna be under the fucking hands of the fucking the rules of supremacy, you know, like till we figure it out, like very quickly. I'm talking about within 3 months or less, we're really fucked, and there's kind of like a lot to go back and try to fix. So what do we do now, right now, and move forward for our generation that we're in right now? I would hate to fucking leave this shit for the next two generations to pick up and they're like, God, man, I wish they would have made it a little easy. Well, we tried for fucking millennia, you know, we just kind of like just left it in your little young fucking AI hands and shit. You know what I mean? Our legacies are gonna be fucking robots for God's sakes. Come on now, put it together, family. We got to do something. We ain't got to unify, but we got to get real revolutionary or real fucking demanding or something. You know what I mean? There's no motherfuckers at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know,
got a
but
point.
$9 a gas per gallon, and you travel a lot, Shabaka, and especially in California, everything's miles of highway. That's
Lady
miles of highway.
Che,
What's that?
to prove your point even further, right? I traveled down there in the Panther Town yesterday, and I'm in Sacramento, which is 80 miles away. Do you know it costs me 55 fucking dollars in fuel? And this motherfucker's back to empty again.
That's fucking crazy. 1 gallon, right? You and what do you are you in a car or van?
Okay,
How
I
much does
was
it take to
driving the
fill?
van. Well, I didn't fill the tank up, but I got it to what's that there? 75%, three quarters. Okay, at 50 fucking dollars.
Oh my
Driving there
god.
and back. Yeah, driving there and back. You know what I'm saying? Now this motherfucker's back on empty again. You know what I mean?
It's
And
not gonna keep taking gas at this rate. You know what I mean?
yep,
Like
and not
even if we
getting
went
off topic.
keep
Now
the cool
here's one
taking
for
gas.
you. Now here's one for you that y'all gonna love. Okay, they still got the toll booths, you know, on crossing the bridges, the Bay Bridge, the Carquinez Bridge, you know, it goes from Contra Costa County into Solano County.
Mhm.
It's $7, and all the toll booth workers are no longer there. It's all automated now. They either gonna say you either
Yep,
gotta
everything.
have fast track or they're gonna send you an invoice for each time you cross the fucking bridge.
Hell no.
Wow.
And how much is
Shit
that
is
ticket? What, like
crazy.
30?
Okay,
I
now
mean,
what
you're
they're gonna
fucked.
do? Okay, now if you went there and let's say you blew the toll booth, meaning that you passed right through it and ain't paid shit, I think your ticket was like about $350, $400. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah,
they're
it's
they're like the
crazy.
tolls, and they're just
Oh
everywhere,
yeah,
and they're four, and it's all everything separated between fucking Mile Highway to any city. You know what I mean? And then with that being said, it's like you would have to have another job or some sort of extra income to not to support just yourself, but just to keep gas in the car for fucking 2 3 days, if that. And
right.
you're selling out $50, what, every fuck couple hundred miles? That's
Yep.
ridiculous.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
So
so
quite naturally, of course, off the law of once again of economics, this is going to affect the economy with a major economical shift on auto repairs, on food, on the trucking industry, on the warehouse workers. And then I saw somebody, a Facebook friend, had put up on my wall that there's fast food restaurants saying work today, get paid tomorrow. Now, for those of us, or what they would call the working class, if I saw a sign like that and needed that job right there, and it might come to the point that I might, I'm going to go in there and tell that motherfucker, you going to have to pay me every goddamn day cash. Fuck your
yeah.
check.
Right.
Oh shit.
Straight out. Every goddamn day, you're going to have to pay me my money in cash. Now, the
Everybody's gonna
reason why
every
And the reason why I'm pushing this narrative is because, see, what it's going to be is that these motherfuckers like Bezos and Musk and the Microsoft psychotic, what's that clown's name? Bill Gates, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
This here
yeah.
will cause an economical shift, and they're going to have to start dilapidating some of their trillions, to keep their organizations up. Same thing with Amazon.
Yeah, they
Fuck
work for
Amazon.
this is the cost of
You know.
sanctioning of
Yeah.
we saw
You see?
the cost of a fucking degenerate, a fucking simpleton, an elderly simpleton. You know what I mean? You don't even know where he's at half the time. You know, he's
Right.
look like he's about to go into a fucking you know what I mean? And so this he's fucking he's getting involved with shit that should have just let them do what they got to do. You know what I mean? That's something they felt like they needed to handle. But you want to be
Oh, yes,
safety.
ma'am.
We could have minded our own business. I mean, they're not
Yes,
taking
ma'am.
care of. They're gonna take care of send weapons to everybody else. Can I get a weapon? Can I get something? Can you help us? Can you do something for us?
Right.
You know what I mean? But you want to
Right.
be in areas in countries that are filled with motherfucking supremacists, and you're giving them fucking arms to deal with shit, and you're making other
Right.
people mad. Fuck with us later. It's only gonna retaliate. It's ugly, and we're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And they want us to fight their shit. No, like tangibles, I'm sitting it out until it benefits me, and at this rate, nothing they can say is gonna benefit me at all. None of these
Well,
discussions, none of that. You know, hold your
okay,
vote.
so this is, hold your vote. Also, to start growing your own food as well, too. You see what I mean? Also, too, in this era of information and technology and what have you, get more knowledge on how to be self-sustaining. You see what I mean? Now, they're talking about that they're getting ready to have 1.3 million of these motherfucking Ukrainians coming to the United States. And you know where they're going to set up their businesses at.
Yep,
We already know that.
yep. Just like Afghanistan,
So,
everybody
yeah,
else, but
exactly.
Black, you got to
And
go
then,
back.
yeah.
You
And
know,
then in Denver, they're shutting down the Welton Street Cafe. And from what I understand, that has been a fixture in the black community there ever since the 1950s.
Yep.
yeah, it's a very sad day for me.
Yeah. You see, And I think
Yeah, just
I've been to the Welton Cafe quite a few times when I was there in Denver.
Yeah.
Right
I didn't
down
get a
there
chance.
by the light rail station. And also too, there used to be a barbecue joint or a restaurant right there that was had very, very good food right there. And it's that corner which is the 5 Points, I believe, which is off of Welton.
Yeah.
And then too, and I remember Fern Hall that you told me, brother Che, that they tore down.
Yeah.
Hate to see it go. You know what I mean, and what have you,
Yeah.
No
and
longer the
whatnot.
same. It's. I wish that I could have made it earlier. And I would have had, was longer. But I couldn't. I just know that every time I go to 5 Points before COVID, right before COVID, there was nothing but fucking good looking, motherfucking beautiful, fucking black people everywhere. There wasn't a
Right,
hint, really, too much of. Uh, you might have more Hispanics, a little bit more, but there was always more black people than there was any of that. And
mm-hmm,
motherfuckers were scared to come down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Scared.
mm-hmm,
They came down there. They were a real motherfucker to come down and chill all day long,
Yeah.
because that's what you were doing, kicking it, hanging out, visiting, talking to the elders. You were doing a lot, and it was a good time to be. You could go to a concert. You could fucking get a haircut. You could do a lot of different things. You could visit your friends. You could walk up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what I mean? And it was a good thing. Then COVID hit, and then there was nothing. We were all fucking inside, right? And then they had the
yeah,
motherfucking. We have Black Days, I guess if you want to call it that. It's symbolism, But like for example, hypothetical example, right? My fucking example, Juneteenth. Up until COVID, all you saw was fucking nothing but seas of fucking black people walking up and down, spending with the vendors, kicking it all day,
Yeah.
right? The whole day was beautiful. There might have been three motherfucking shots, throughout the day. That was usual. Everybody dispersed. They came back 25 minutes later. It was good. And bobbing back and forth, listening to jazz, music, seeing everybody, hugging people, talking to people. Then after that, so COVID, nothing, right? We had one maybe holiday. It was virtual. We didn't spend virtually in it. We went out. We did whatever, right? The parade, same thing. It was usually more black people at the parade, not so much. Then this year, or the year that just passed, this last Juneteenth, they had ended up trying to have security on our 5 Points. And me and Jesse are like, nah, we're the black media, man. Move the fuck around,
Right.
We go through it. We noticed. I noticed. Don't let the shade deflect the message. I noticed that there was a lot, like almost more like 75% more white people than there ever was.
Yeah.
And they weren't spending no money with black
No.
owners. In fact, they were like, nose up, fucking uppity, fucking bourgeoisie type, the kind of,
right,
like the gentrified,
Mhm.
right? They come
right,
in with their they come in with their mate or their black friend, their one black friend, and think that, it's whatever. They refuse to spend no money when that event is a collective, and all these people know each other, all the vendors know each other, and that money circulates amongst them. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
All day keep switching. If one motherfucker might bought a necklace, that same vendor took it and went and bought some food. It's circulating all day. It wasn't happening that time. They had a concert.
right.
I didn't even know how to deal with. It was like what? Oh,
We were black.
we were
first.
black instead of we are black. Like we're like past tense. What happened? What happened now?
Right.
Like you know what I
Okay,
mean? That
okay. I'll
bullshit.
tell you what happened. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Okay, what had happened was is that when you had the crack epidemic of the no, strike that pre-crack epidemic, which was the disco era. Okay, what they had did when you look at the movie Saturday Night Fever. Now let me think. Okay, that's 1976. Okay, that was at the height of the disco era. And what had happened was you had all these white groups that was trying to copy the R&B, but they had called it disco, right? And then they would come out there with a bunch of stupid shit. I remember that. Okay, and then you had the rhythm and poetry era come in. That was 1979. The Sugar Hill Gang, the Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
So then in the mid 80s, then that's when it flipped, going to the gangster rap and all this old type of shit, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when they had started coming out, with the groups about more self-destruction in the black community, glorifying, the negative aspects in the black community, as opposed to having the conscious rappers, who was bringing up awareness in the community and what have you. So
Yeah, you know,
now what is then what started happening with that, then it's added more to the shattering of the black family unit. You see what I'm saying? Particularly getting a black male up out of the household. And on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, we're going to have some scholars coming on. One that I'd mentioned who him and I got off into a very, very good conversation about the stepdad in the home, but still,
Right.
doing the right thing, for the black males, being respectful, teaching them skills, teaching them methods to defend themselves, is because even Malcolm X had said it. It is a crime to teach a man not to defend himself. When you look at all other species of life, okay, from the elephants to the lions, the big cats, you know what I'm saying, the leopards, the panthers, and what have you. It's always the male kitties showing the little kitties who are males, how to defend themselves, how to use their claws and things like that. Just like in some cultures with the martial arts and what have you, and people are saying, well, the martial arts originated, in Asia, but in actuality, they originated in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. Is because I had this conversation with this brother online, and he was talking about the leopard,
yep,
and
exactly.
I had put the picture of the panther up there, and I made the statement that the panther and the leopard are first cousins, in the cat family, which they are, because if you look at a panther's coat real closely, you will see his spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this brother, he hit me back, and I believe he was off the continent, and then he was talking about the different styles of the leopard style versus the panther style, and then the other styles of the big cats, just like in Asia, where they got the tiger claws and the eagle claws and things of that nature. Right there is because it is from nature, of nature, to preserve nature, but
Yeah.
but here comes the ass scratchers and the Tim Scotts and the Bakari Sellers and the Van Jones who get up there on TV crying because the orange man got elected and representing, his agenda and what have you. And these Negroes sit up there and cry. You sit up there and cry. But I just find it very, very interesting if he had came up in the inner city, rough, that we're familiar with,
Mhm.
I'm quite sure that the people he would have been attacking would look just like us, would look
Right.
just like him.
Yeah.
Just like Garvey had said when they deported him back to Jamaica. They said, I already knew that there would be Samba Rambos. I'm just sorry that you Negroes didn't step up and try to protect me. And then for all you white supremacists out there that say you collards need to go back to Africa. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? We tried to do just that in the 1920s. And the man who launched the Black Star steamship line
Mhm.
and what have you, and had over 8 million followers with no internet, with no television, just a
Yeah.
printed
Oh yeah.
press. Y'all deport them.
Yeah. Brother Shabaka, we got to move forward real quick.
Absolutely.
getting late.
Next item. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I got.
Okay. So our next topic is we're still waiting on you Biden supporters. Where the hell are you at?
Sleeping.
Where are you Biden supporters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, where are you Biden supporters and all the Democrats? You know, you're gearing up again. You know, to run for the U.S. Congress, a few Senate seats, and all you Congress people, or the House of Representatives, as they call it, all of y'all up for re-election. And I would like to see 95% of you motherfuckers, particularly the black ones, voted out of office.
Yep. So I'm gonna move us.
I'd like to see more real black people. Go ahead, Jussie. I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna move us to our next topic, which is Ma'Khia Bryant's killer found not guilty, or he won't.
Yes.
Any charges. Officer who killed Ma'Khia Bryant will not face charges. New York Times article. The 16-year-old girl had a turbulent life in Ohio's foster care system and was swinging a knife at a woman when a police officer fatally shot her last year.
Right. He put 3 bullets in her, one in the shoulder, one in the leg, and one in her torso, which is the midsection area. So quite naturally, of course, I'm quite sure that's where the fatal shot was, and I'm quite sure, and our hearts go out to her family. That young woman was dead, you know, before she hit the ground. And then, quite naturally, of course, we do know that the police department is going to protect each other. And then in Philadelphia, now you all going to love this one, where they did discipline a Philadelphia police officer in a killing. And the police commissioner who issued this statement, it was up on social media a couple of days ago. Her last name is Outlaw. Very interesting. Officer Outlaw.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to finish this article. So a grand jury has voted to bring charges against the white police officer who shot and killed Ma'Khia Bryant, a 16-year-old black girl, as she swung a knife at a woman during a Ruskic debate last year in the front yard of her foster home in Ohio. The decision not to charge the officer, Nicholas Reardon, was announced on Friday by prosecutors. It brings a close to a case that led to protests in Columbus, Ohio, and scrutiny of the foster care system that had shuffled Ma'Khia between at least 5 homes in 2 years.
Wow.
The shooting attracted national attention in part because Mr. Reardon shot Ma'Khia just 15 minutes before Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck as he struggled to breathe, was convicted of murder. When police officers in the moments after the shooting told Ma'Khia's young sister, Jania Bryant, to go back into the foster home she shared with her sister, the verdict was the first thing she saw on television. Body camera video showed that Ma'Khia had been swinging a steak knife at a 22-year-old woman outside the house when Mr. Reardon shot 4 shots, killing Ma'Khia. Investigators working for the Ohio Attorney General investigated the case and gave their findings to the local prosecutor's office in Franklin County, Ohio, in July. Citing conflicts, the district attorney hired two special prosecutors who said in a statement on Friday that grand jurors had voted against any indictment. It is unclear what options the grand jurors have been presented with. The special prosecutor said in their statement that police officers are justified to use deadly force when the officer or the other person was an imminent threat of serious harm. That's some bullshit.
Right.
Makia family was disappointed by the grand jury's decision and said Michelle Martin, a lawyer for her relatives. She said family members believe that the officer did not have to use his gun. They
Mm-hmm.
wish he had tried to stun Makia with his taser or pull her away from the other person involved.
Mm-hmm.
They have also blamed the Ohio welfare system for taking the girl away from her family. We believe that the tragedy was ultimately resulted in Makia's death started long before she was shot and killed by the Columbus police officer. Mrs. Martin, there must be full-scale changes made to Ohio's foster care system to ensure that this doesn't happen to another child. Jeff Simpson, the president of the union that represents Columbus, said he sat with Officer Reardon and his family for 4 hours on Friday as they awaited the grand jury's decision. He said the officer was relieved by the outcome, but still grappling with having killed a teenage girl in what he said an attempt to save the life of the other young woman. He wishes he never would have that in been put in that position, Mr. Simpson said. Officer has been on hopes to return to patrolling now that the case is complete, he said. The encounter began on April 20th, 2021, when the sisters were at home after school with Tiana Bonner, the 22-year-old woman who had previously lived there. Jania told the New York Times last spring that Miss Bonner was berating them for not being clean enough and for disrespecting their foster mother. All things escalated. As things escalated, Jania called her godmother, Janine Hammonds, to help. Miss Hammonds had taken care of the children after they were taken away from their mother over claims of abuse and neglect, but she her out her house and she had nowhere permanent to live. In interviews last year, Mrs. Hammonds described arriving at the foster home and trying to keep her grandchild separated from the former resident and another former foster child who had also arrived and joined the fray. Miss Hammond says she urged her grandchildren to pack up their belongings and had planned to take them to her house. As the shouting continued, Jania and her godmother said Makia grabbed a steak knife from the kitchen. Mrs. Bonner grabbed a pink knife from her car, according to an investigative report released on Friday, confirming the family's claim that she also had a knife during the dispute. Miss Bonner told the investigators that she put the knife back in her car before the police arrived and that she believed that Mr. Reardon had saved their life by shooting Makia. Oh my God.
Wow.
Inside the house, Jania called 911 asking for help, saying that grown girls were trying to stab us and had tried to hurt the grandmother. New videos released by the Ohio Attorney General on Friday show Mrs. Hammonds and Jania leaving the house with a trash bag of belongings. A stamp on the video indicates that it took place at 4:35 p.m., moments before the shooting. Ain't nobody going to jump you, Miss Hammond said in a video that was captured by the doorbell surveillance camera. Trust me, let's go. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do y'all thought?
Wow. Well, that's a tragedy on that one indeed. They have to say, number one. In addition to, is that it's very, very sad, that the young woman, did lose her life, unfortunately. And in addition to, that just simply goes to show that we got to have the black family more intact. So therefore, you ain't even got to deal with no damn state-sanctioned foster care system,
Right.
or what have you. Just say, then that's what I'm gonna say in regard to that. And the sad part about it is, it's quite natural, of course, when you get these individuals with guns and badges, they feel that they're above the law. I mean, the Rodney King case proved that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I read the book called Chief, the autobiography of Daryl Gates, he even tried to rationalize his racism, which was really sad, And the sad part about it is that this is in the American ethos when it comes to black people having to deal with the modern day slave patrollers, is because this is where your police agencies had evolved from.
Right.
So once again, black family, the more reason for us to do for ourselves, more reason for the $100 trillion in tangibles. Yeah. Just cut the goddamn check. It's time for our black scholars, to come together and recognize the fact that we are, in fact, in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
And your other groups, you have to go hold your own nuts.
That's it.
Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because your interests are not our interests. And this is why I appreciate brothers like Julius Malema, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, Jomo Kenyatta, Kwame Ture, Kwame Nkrumah, Muhammad Ali, Colin Kaepernick. See?
Yeah. So I got to move us on, Shabaka. So our next topic is or let's let you say how any thoughts on the Kia case.
I was not that sad when I saw it on the computer, or I saw the clip of it. I just couldn't believe myself. I was like, wow. But then I don't, it just at that point, I mean, was she going through like a mental health crisis, or she really must have felt like she was in danger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if she really felt like she was in danger, you should have been there to help instead of end her. You know what I mean? Period. If anybody cared, they should have helped her.
Right.
Yeah, and I just feel like that shit's crazy. And I'm glad that we still talk about her.
Yes, yes. So,
absolutely.
Our next story or discussion is on jury. This is from The Hill. The jury rejects sexual assault claims against Deshaun Watson. So that is the NFL player from the Houston Texans. And he was charged with 9 counts of sexual assault. A Texas jury on Friday rejected 9 sexual assault claims against the NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson, who had been accused of sexual misconduct by nearly 24 women. The New York Times reported that the 12-person jury decided not to charge Watson, who maintains his innocence, after being presented evidence by the Harris County District Attorney's Office tied to 9 of the 10 of the claims filed against him last year. The 10th claim was not presented to the grand jury. The claims filed by massage therapists accused Watson of exposing himself, touching women with his penis, and kissing them against their will.
Jeez.
The first accusation against Watson was filed a year ago by massage therapist Ashley Solis, citing an alleged instance from March 2020 that claim was impervious or impetuous for many more women making public claims. We respect the grand jury's decision, said Jonah Stallings, division chief of the Adult Sex Crimes and Human Trafficking Unit at Harris County District Attorney's Office. We will conclude the criminal proceedings in Harris County. During the 2 depositions early Friday for civil cases, Watson cited his Fifth Amendment right, declining to answer any questions surrounding the accusations, said Tony Busby, who represents the 22 women who have accused Watson of harassment or assault. Watson's attorney, Rusty Hardin, responded to the depositions by calling them a media-created event, claiming that any lawyer would tell a client to refrain from answering questions if criminal charges were still possible. Attorneys for Watson said he is innocent, claiming that the lawsuits are a money grab on part of the women. Okay, so that's the article. What are y'all thoughts?
Well, on that, first of all, do let me say sexual assault is an act wrong within itself. But however, when you look at the case of Kobe Bryant that happened there in Colorado about 2003, 2004, I think. Then, of course, the shit with Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
It's really sad that when these women make these false accusations against these high-profile individuals, it's a money grab. But I'm just putting it out there that those women who make false accusations, repeat false accusations, should be doing 25 to life. It's because for 2 reasons. One is you're falsely accusing a man who probably didn't want to fuck her in the first place. Excuse my language, ma'am. 2 is it takes away from the true victims of sexual assault.
Right.
Because sexual assault is an act wrong within themselves. And dudes who are going out there dealing with that shit, yeah, they should be dealt with, because you got to keep in mind, men have mothers, men have daughters, men have sisters and wives. But women need to recognize the fact that they have husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons. And how would they feel if their brother, son, or father was falsely accused of a sex crime?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when these women make these false accusations, just think about the women who are real victims of this shit, and what your false accusations do, make it more difficult for these sexual predators who are truly sexual predators, to be dealt with through the judicial system.
Yeah. And let's talk about Bill Cosby real quick.
Yeah, so our next topic is Bill Cosby and the Supreme Court decision So this article's from NPR, and it says the Supreme Court won't review the decision that freed Bill Cosby.
Mm.
Or is that at the national level or the state level?
Let's read the article and see. Philadelphia. The United States Supreme Court quietly announced Monday that it would not review Bill Cosby's sexual assault case, leaving him a free man and ending a 2-decade legal drama that shifted the cultural landscape, destroyed the groundbreaking black actors' reputation, and sent him to late in life. The High Court, without comment, declined to review a decision out of the Pennsylvania, out of Pennsylvania, Cosby from prison over the word of a former prosecutor who said he had made a secret promise to Cosby's lawyers that he would never be charged. A Cosby spokesperson expressed sincere gratitude to the justices on behalf of Cosby's family for the announcement and said he was a victim of irreprehensible bait and switch by the district attorney in the case. This is truly a victory for Mr. Cosby, but it shows that cheating will never get you far in life. Meanwhile, our spokesperson Andrew Bryant said in a statement, once taking aim at the court officials in suburban Philadelphia, as he had throughout both criminal trials. The 84-year-old Cosby, according to Wyatt, remains in good health despite being legally blind. Many people are calling for projects for him, and he is considering a final stand-up tour. Wyatt, District Attorney Stephen Still in Pennsylvania's Montgomery County said that asking the High Court to revive the case was the right to do, even if it was a long shot. He thanked accuser Alexandria Constant for courage and wished her well. Constant and her lawyers in a statement called the decision an unfortunate outcome for everyone, especially sexual assault survivors. They noted that the existence of the agreement or promise was vigorously disputed in court. Her, what is the word? Habeas proceedings and determined by the trial judge not to exist. Cosby never signed an immunity agreement in the case, and Still's predecessor, Bruce L. Castor Jr., never put anything in writing or told anyone in his office about it. He never mentioned it in public until new evidence emerged and the case was reopened a decade later. He said he had made the deal with a Cosby lawyer who by then who was by then deceased. A secret agreement that permits a wealthy defendant to buy his way out of a criminal case isn't right. Still argued in court in 2016 as he pressed to send the case to trial. Montgomery County Judge Stephen O'Neill found Castor's testimony on the point not credible and sent the case to trial. However, the state Supreme Court later ruled that whether or not the supposed deal was ironclad, Cosby thought it was when he gave eye-popping and potentially incriminating testimony and a lawsuit later filed by Constant. The principle of foundational or fundamental fairness that undergirds due process of law in our criminal justice system demands that the promise be enforced. Justice David N. R. Welch wrote last year, ordering Cosby's immediate release after nearly 3 years in prison. During the
Okay.
during the 2006 deposition, a seemingly free-willing Cosby gave long and stream of consciousness answers to questions from Constant's lawyers. He detailed his sexual involvement with a string of young women, a few still in their teens over the years, and he recalled giving them, several of them, including constant alcohol or pills, while he remained sober. I don't hear her say anything, and I don't feel her say anything. So I continue, and I go into the area that is somewhere between permission and rejection. I am not stopped, Cosby said in the deposition, describing a sexual encounter that came after he gave her 3 pills for stress, which she said knocked her out. He was arrested in the Constant case on December 30th, 2015, just days before the 12-year statute of limitations expired. Still had reopened the case after the Associated Press went to federal court to unseal Cosby's long-buried testimony in Constant's lawsuit.
Okay, Brother Che, you're fading in and out.
Oh, shit. Cosby, after giving 4 days of damaging testimony, had paid her $3.4 million to settle the case. He went on trial in the criminal case in June 2017. The jury could not reach a verdict. Less than a year later, after media reports about media mogul Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuse of women galvanized the
Fading in and
media.
out.
I gotta finish some article. The AP and the second jury convicted Cosby of drugging and molesting Constant. The AP does not typically identify people who say they are victims of sexual assault unless they grant permission. Constant now advocate for sexual assault survivors has done so. Scores of women have come forward to say Cosby, who, oh shit, I don't push the monitors on. Oh, Shabbat.
Okay, Brother Che, you there?
Yeah, can you hear us? Shabaka.
Okay, Brother Che, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Shabaka. Shabaka.
Okay, Brother Che, you there, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, Shabaka. Can you hear me?
Okay. All right, they're messing with the algorithms again, man.
Go out and come back in, Shabaka. Scores of women have come forward to say Cosby also sexually assaulted them, but Constant is the only one led to an arrest. Shabaka,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Okay, you're fading in and out. Yeah, they messing with our algorithms.
Yeah, it's probably the signal. Can you hear me? Shabaka,
Yeah, I'm here.
can you hear me?
They're messing with the algorithms. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. His, I gotta.
Okay, they're messing with. Yeah, they're messing with our algorithms.
Okay, it's probably the signal too. His insurer.
Yeah, because I heard over Main Street. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta finish this article. His insurer against Cosby's wishes settled a Massachusetts lawsuit involving 7 accusers for an undisclosed amount after the 2018 conviction. At least 2 other lawsuits remain pending against the actor. Castor, who said he made the deal with Cosby's lawyer, later represented former President Donald Trump at his second impeachment trial, at which Trump was acquitted of inciting the violent mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Castor said he declined to arrest Cosby in 2005, based in part on his belief that both parties could be held in less than a flattering light. Constant later sued Castor for defamation, won a settlement from him. Castor countersued Constant, but the judge threw it out. That's it. So your thoughts?
That broad is all about the bread.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Hey,
Well, well,
you know, like that's like
okay. Now that's a good thing if Dr. Cosby had that conviction overturned, and I'm
Yeah.
glad they did it at the federal level. And I'm just putting it out there. And to our listeners and to our well wishers, okay, I'm going to say this right here. Also, to our haters, I'm going to say this right here. Looking at half these women that claim that Cosby drugged them to have sex, I honestly believe that they had to drug Bill Cosby for him to have sex with them, if in case that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Because these were some raggedy ass looking broads.
Yeah.
And I don't mean no disrespect to the women at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw them quite unattractive. Looked like half of them had mental issues. You know what I mean? And I just cannot see a man of Dr. Cosby's stature in Los Angeles who will go out there and do some shit like that. Now, the San Fernando Valley is the porno capital of the world. If Dr. Cosby was looking for such activities, all he had to do was get in his limousine and drive down Ventura Boulevard. And I'm quite sure he would have found some willing participants. But looking at the case of Bill Cosby, of the years that it went down and while it was going down, I'm willing to bet, my last $20 bill that it was a case of extortion against Mr. Cosby. You follow me?
Yeah, we follow you, Shabaka. I have to make a phone call. Hold on.
Okay.
Shabaka.
Yeah, I'm here.
On the show? All right, so I'm gonna move us to our next topic, and that
Okay.
is Brittany Griner facing time in Russia. She
Okay.
and as you know, there's a Russian-Ukrainian conflict going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe there's efforts to get her back 10 years in prison.
Shit, what you do?
She brought in some weed cartridges. So she tried to sneak them in through the airport. So WNBA star Brittany Griner detained in Russia. What we know and don't know, and what's next?
Okay. Well, on that, um, from what I understand, nobody has heard from her.
Yeah,
And then, of course, too, that over in China, that they had a Chinese tennis star
How long is it long?
who was having some type of legal ramifications happening in China. And then to find out, allegedly that the tennis star was alive and well. Now, would this here happen with Ms. Griner? And then keep in mind that with Ms. Griner being of African descent, and for those of you around the world who's never been to the United States, who's tuning in to us, the welfare and the lives of people of African descent, uh, foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery, we were never viewed as total human beings in this country. So, so the crew over there in Russia, might feel the same way. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna read some part of this article real quick. Just to give it a little the final pieces that we have.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, right there. No, right there. I'm not gonna read all of it.
where are you gonna start?
Keep going down a little bit. No, next one. What charges? Right there, stop. All right. So I'm going to read part of this article. It's from and it's in regards to Brittany Griner. It says, according to Firestone, Griner has been charged under Russian Article 2291, illegal crossing of a customs border with illegal narcotics, which can carry a sentence of up to 10 years in prison. If it's determined she has a significant amount, more than 2.5 grams, she could face up to 20 years. Hold on a sec. 1 second, family. Okay.
Wow.
It said, what's ahead of her? Experts say that there are essentially two paths to resolution: the Russian criminal justice system and the political world. And they say it's to Griner's belief our benefit to stay out of the political world. But Russia also has a strong anti-drug culture, as either path could be perilous. Her calculus would be to get the best Russian lawyer that she can. Hell nah. Scrutinize the evidence, see what the legal challenges are.
Christian Mott is joining us. Hey, peace, brother. We're going over WNBA star Brittany Griner being detained in Russia.
Yeah.
Peace, man. Peace. What's up, brother? How you doing? Sorry for the delay. I apologize. You know what I'm saying, to viewers and interrupting. I apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? But most blissfulness, consciousness to you.
All right, let me continue. Her calculus should be to get the best Russian lawyer she can, scrutinize the evidence, see what legal challenges she may have to the evidence, and to try and get it through the system that way. Firestone told ESPN this week, I don't think she's going to find much help from the spirit this way. That's fucked up. The Russian judicial system is currently bogged down by COVID restrictions and overwhelmed by thousands of people arrested in anti-war protests. So it could take months for her case to be heard. That could also work in Grainer's favor. Firestone said prosecutors might want to dispose of her case quickly. Jesus. Hold on. To deal with domestic upheaval. If Grainer's case does become political, she's at the mercy of Russian President Vladimir Putin. If he wants to keep her as a chip for negotiations, a chip, I think they meant to say chip, for negotiations, as he did with Israeli woman arrested for possession. That's not a natural word for me. uh, Possession of cannabis in 2019. He will, in the 2019, high-level officials from the two countries worked out a deal. They gave Russia control of an area, Jerusalem. Putin had then pardoned the woman, although Russia denied there were any connections between the events. In this case, there was something specific Putin wanted from Israel. As Firestone and others pointed out, it is, thank you, okay. It is not clear what he would want from the United States. It's very clear what he wants from the United States. No leverage against Russia. Sometimes cases like this are better handled to low-key approaches. All right, I'm gonna stop for there. That's pretty fucked up, family. Basically, they're like, bitch, you on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, she got caught up.
fuck, politics ain't gonna help you. We know you're black. Doesn't matter. We're not gonna help you. And you might be at the mercy of the Russian president. And on top of all that, just find yourself a good Russian lawyer. That is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, real fucked up. Regardless of what she did, really gonna leave her there because of fucking COVID? They're backed up because of COVID.
Yeah.
This been like this for fucking 2 years. I mean, really gonna leave this fucking basketball star to head because you don't want to deal with COVID? And they're too busy to get protests right now? Are you fucking kidding me? You're in the United States. It's protesting. It's like a fucking victimless misdemeanor. You know what they do? They'll be out by tomorrow, the next day. They're just ready to do shit. They did. I mean, but still, you're gonna let them stay in Russia and be at the mercy because y'all don't want to do the right thing? The fucker, you see, family? None of those options they gave the newspaper is a tangible option for this girl. You know what I mean? And regardless, she can't buy her way out of it. She's there. But
Yeah, she got caught up.
she don't speak Russian. Does she speak Russian?
No.
She's fucked. And we're gonna live there.
Yeah.
We ain't shit.
Thoughts, Sabaku?
Yeah, my thought about that, she just got caught up. You know what I mean? And then once again, when it comes to professional sports, we should be forming our own leagues. I mean, I've said that for years. And also, too, Jussie Smollet, what he get 6 months in the Crook County jail for lying to police by claiming racial homophobic attack. Now, let me say something, if I may, on this bastard. First place, Jussie Smollet, go to hell. You staged that bullshit is because, you got caught up in that syndrome in Hollywood that you want to be a big star and all that. You went there and paid these dudes, you know what I'm saying, to do this to you. Okay, your plan got exposed, and how in a crooked ass city like Chicago, of how they got to your crooked ass. Hey man, go walk the fucking concrete, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no sympathy for his stupid ass.
No sympathy.
We'll play this video.
So the former Empire star 39 was found guilty in December on 5 counts of felony disorderly conduct. And here's the video.
Just in the last few moments, right behind us here in the Cook County courtroom, Jussie Smollet was remanded into custody. He has been sentenced to 30 months probation, which will include 150 days, which he will have to spend behind bars here at the Cook County Jail. He was just taken into custody. He was screaming as he was escorted out of the courtroom, "I am not suicidal," and continuing to proclaim his innocence. He will also have to pay over $120,000 in restitution. He faces a 20 and again, he's now going to be spending the night, as of now, behind bars in a Cook County jail. I want to show you now what has unfolded over the last several hours here today. Court's in session. In court today, prosecutors sharing a letter from the city of Chicago and its police department speaking of the damage Smollet has done.
A cost that can never be measured is the harm by reducing the likelihood of actual to report these crimes.
The city also claiming Smollet's hoax cost police more than $130,000 in overtime to chase a threat that didn't exist. Today, you can see the latest chapter of a bizarre, years-long legal saga. In 2019, Smollet claimed two masked men hurled racial and homophobic slurs at him, threw chemicals at the Empire Star, and tied a noose around his neck. There were doubts the incident was legitimate, but he spoke out about the alleged attack.
And I said it was a Muslim or Mexican, no black. I feel like the brothers would have supported me a lot.
Chicago police announced Smollet staged the whole thing with two associates.
Anyone, especially an African-American man, knows the symbolism used to make false accusations.
His associates, the Osundairo brothers, testified against the actor, saying Smollet paid them to attack him outside his Chicago home. Smollet testified there was no hoax, but a jury convicted him. Smollet's defense submitted over 80 letters in support of leniency. Today, his older brother and 9-year-old grandmother speaking directly to the judge.
Jussie does not have malice or hatred toward anyone, and it is truly unfortunate that his reputation has received so many negative connotations.
And I ask you, the judge, not to send him to prison. If you do, send me along with him.
Jussie Coach back with us live from Chicago. Jussie, you mentioned that there was the outburst from Smollet as he was known. I don't know about that. Yeah, so I'm going to read to you his final words as he was escorted out of the courtroom by the justice officials. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago, and this is significant, Gabe, for multiple reasons. First off, earlier in the proceeding, Smollet was asked directly by the judge if he wanted to say anything. Smollet's legal team had said he was not going to make any comments, alluding to the possibility of an appeal, and Smollet declined to speak earlier. And also, the judge, as well as the prosecution, have been pointing out that because Smollet has been convicted, he essentially perjured himself when he testified, saying that there was no hoax. And Smollet's final words as he was escorted out of the courtroom, convicted and sentenced to time behind bars, were that he was still innocent. Gabe?
Well, Jussie, that we now have part of that outburst. Let's play it.
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
I'm not suicidal.
Okay.
I'm suicidal. I'm not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that
Man.
I've been special for 400 years. Your Honor, I respect you, and I respect you. I will not do this.
Man, this shit is pathetic.
We do expect to hear from his defense side of the courtroom. Now the proceedings are wrapping up, and you could tell as we were watching things unfolding there in the courtroom that his defense team was trying to get the judge to allow that jail time to be suspended for the time being. But Smollet was taken out of the courtroom by those involved with the courts here. Look for more reaction from his family, but we know that supporters have been pleading for leniency for the judge to not sentence him behind bars, but the judge took that into consideration as well as other factors with what he decided the proper sentence.
Wow.
Okay, I could barely hear that. But the only thing I'm gonna say is fuck them. Okay. I don't have no sympathy for no stupid motherfucker like that.
Right.
I mean, the hell with him. And like I said, to the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences, to Universal Music, to Paramount Pictures, Touchstone, Miramax, the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences, which sits there on the corner of Highland Avenue and Hollywood Boulevard. Fuck y'all. That shit there was a publicity stunt. You're trying to market that trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of bullshit, you know. So they got his ass up there in the Cook County Jail.
Yeah.
Let him walk the concrete. Dumb bastard knew what the fuck he was doing with that bullshit.
Christian Mata?
Shimada, whenever you stop hitting the weed, please answer the comment. What are your thoughts on this, Christian Mata?
That news is fucking calm. And you know what other podcasts have reported, you know, it's another shit as well. I mean, we like this dude in a dress, looks like a girl with we're the foundation or whatever, and Black Lives Matters had black trans women in mind for this, and you know he's just represented, and I don't know what else, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it still don't make sense. Like, I played the track over 100 times and I still don't get it. Like, the audacity, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you know, he's in jail. He'll probably get like 3 months good time and do all those months of probation, probably half of that. You know what I mean? It's because they don't want to be bothered with that shit. And anybody who goes to jail the first time will get good time.
Right.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, thoughts, Christian Mata? Christian Mata.
He's on mute or something.
Our next topic is Welton Street Cafe to move to a new 5 Points location.
Yeah, we'll play the video.
$100,000 worth of plan now. Take that money and to build another restaurant not too far from where we're standing, about a block away. But today I spoke with the family who owns this place, who owns this establishment. They tell me this similar moment is points. Our last day is tomorrow. Welton Street Kitchen. You've come here several times now.
I have been coming to Welton Street probably for the last 15 or 20 years.
It's been 27th in Welton since 1999, and but now these doors are closing for good.
There's so much history in this community for it to be moved out. It won't feel the same.
This is an emotional conversation. This is life and death happening at the same time in the Black community. All right, thank you.
Fatima Dickerson and her family are Welton Street.
All right. Thank you. So we had catfish and wings and 3 drinks, right?
We used to be right here with us.
Her mother, Miss Mona, nearly 40 years ago, a place called Mona's Wings and Things.
Babies, grandbabies, mamas, grandmothers, everybody, the whole community. We appreciate everyone.
The collective consensus in 5 Points is changing. As prices and costs skyrocket, the burden to preserve this building became too much to bear.
I think this is the effect of gentrification and reasons why we have to keep small Black businesses in the community where they started.
We don't have a lot of these spaces
especially in a historically Black district.
I just feel like this is like a landmark in my eyes. This place has so much history, so for it to be going away is pretty sad because everyone comes here.
Proof that some history lessons can be difficult.
Anyway, that goes to that new location about a block away until we're going to hear more on that. You're also going to hear more from the owners of this place, but let me tell you, it was popping all day.
Okay, that's the video.
I feel upset. Like I've been upset all day, and I feel really upset that I didn't have a chance to go inside. When I got in, it's late. I got it.
New details. Now take a look here. This man has just been arrested in a huge drug bust. This
I
is
don't know
Arthur
how long
Mills,
it's gonna
Denver.
take them to pull it together and everything, but this shouldn't have never happened. I mean, the I don't even know who's to blame because that was the last thing people really needed to see in 5 points for that to go. That was like one of the last things that we had left, and it's just like Smiley's in Denver, the laundromat. It's just like that. There's so many places that we have and had, and the owners don't want to work with people. Nobody wants to be bought out, or they just want to sit on this property, and then they want to demolish it and let the developers pay them whatever. I mean, yeah, money's really worth the fact that there's hundreds of people who had these memories of that place and won't really get to go by and show their kid or something, you know what I mean? Or have conversations with their family and friends as they go up and down the street about going in there or going by some of these places that they just want to tear down with the wording of affordable housing, but it's no such thing. It's meant for people with long-standing jobs and who can keep and maintain that, who may have good credit, and they may throw in a couple of places just around the AMI. I mean, they can't even house our homeless. You feel me? So nothing's affordable here. It's only, like I said earlier, it's about to be feast or famine, really famine. You know what I mean? And this is another thing. Now we'll be stuck. Remember, you feel me? Shit upon shit.
Yeah. Thoughts, Christian Martin?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just listening.
Thoughts, Shabaka?
Just listening in.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, we lost Shabaka. My thoughts is I'm really sad to see Welton Street Cafe closing. I'm glad it's going to remain in the 5 Points historically Black district, but I'm still sad to see it go. I practically grew up in this place. This is the last Black comfort in Denver, and I always felt at home when I went to Welton Street Cafe, and I have my signature order, which is beef, broccoli, and cheese pates. So with the hot
Catfish
sauce.
is good. Catfish is good. The catfish is good.
I like the veggie burgers, and my family.
But you know what? It doesn't end right here. It really does. I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. In the middle of your thing, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we are always in a revolution. We are always in a revolution. We're always in a revolution. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be another beginning.
Yeah. I also think too that it's like I said earlier. I'm even probably more disappointed and more upset about this whole thing because even every time I go to 5 Points, which is pretty fucking regularly, I can't help but tear up. You know what I mean? There's nobody there. All you see is white couples and yuppies, motherfucking dogs there, white people walking their dog, all casual, fancy free, and shit, and just very few of us are out there just doing whatever we need to do, and it's very sad to me. And also too with that, we got events coming up because they celebrate this symbolism shit like Juneteenth,
Mm.
and that's gonna be another fucking day where just gonna have to see more of them and less of us, and that shit's stupid. You know what I mean? It's very upsetting, and my family has had a good involvement in and out as employees and members of employees and whatnot. It's your family, so I've got accustomed to it. You may not see me, you see me, but you don't see me. You're in there. I got something from there. I know about that place is fucking something. And when I drove past it today, it was cold. It was really fucking windy, and there's still people outside. And I'm thinking to myself, I just can't go in there right now. I gotta wait, and I just had to go. It's windy, it's cold, it's a lot. There's people still there, and I'm thinking to myself, man, y'all know how important the city knew how important this was to us, and yet the system will find a way to keep people down from it being anymore. You know. So yeah, this shit is very sad.
Yeah, it is. So, our last two topics of the night are unhoused neighbor news and unhoused neighbor sweeps. So, for those that don't know, the sweeps continue. The unhoused neighbor traumatic displacements continue. In 2022, Mayor Michael Hancoon continues to usher out uh, sweeps week after week. And there was several sweeps this past week in downtown Denver. This is a hot spot for these sweeps, and it's just out of sight, out of mind. They don't want to see poverty. They don't want poverty to be seen. No visible signs of poverty. They want. They don't want the tourists to see that Denver has an unhoused neighbor problem, which is really a greed problem, and they want to just keep the money flowing. So, Lady Che has more to say about the unhoused neighbor news and the unhoused neighbor sweeps. So, Lady Che.
Well, it's finally worked itself out. We finally got a way to get notifications of when the sweeps are gonna happen. We finally got two backup plans for that, so that's good. 2 days in the very beginning of the week, there were two sweeps, and um, they were just bad. The cleanup crew and the police really don't have no decorum. So that's what that was about. The third day, we had a small little snowstorm, and it was supposed to start in the afternoon, but it started really early in the morning. And I was already halfway there before I couldn't go any further because of the 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 battery. This shit gets cold, you know? So it was really messed up. But they canceled it. Thankfully, they did cancel that one. So Tuesday we'll be picking up right there where it left off. The other thing is, I passed through Union Station today, and there's police still. They're not as many. It doesn't look like it, but they're mostly in plain clothes too. And there's still police out there harassing individuals inside the Union Station. Union Station's kind of like a little empty. It seems like without the usual stuff. I didn't go in, however, I did see more security everywhere. Um, it was just it really didn't change much to me except more security and less today's like everybody's doing stuff on 16th Street, so that place was busier than the Union Station. So I traveled all up and down that day. Um, Also, uh, I did make some contact in Aurora to see if I can find out the sweeps there, so I could go because I actually am in Aurora. To go actually go check that out. I made some. I kind of reached out to a few people and asked some questions because I wasn't sure. It's been heavily saturated with police all over from um, pretty much Five Points to East Side all the way to Aurora and a little bit in between. I see it's like everywhere, all everywhere. You just can't miss them. you know, and it feels like trolling or it feels just very, very targeted, very richly engrossed with police everywhere, and they creep on everybody. They drive up on people slowly, no matter what. I was getting ready to go and drive down to the light rail from where I am now, and I stopped to put on a hoodie, put my gloves on, and I turned my shit off, and I'm just sitting there, adjusting my hoodie and my gloves, and just getting ready to leave, and they creep up on me and really do what I've only got done like my whole life. Sit there, look at you, like it's something, like you're up to something, and just creep down the block and go around two more times. It's like, are you serious? Like, why now? Like, we do this every day. But you're gonna it's intense, and it's not just with me, it's with everybody they think are unhoused or up to something, and it's everywhere, everywhere. I can't even go around the corner like two streets without running into one, and they're creeping, they're really looking at the encampment that's close by here, and which isn't an encampment, it's nothing but RVs. It's like six RVs. Maybe there's like 10 out there all together in like a 3 block radius. That's it. There's no tents, and nobody's outside. But they're just creeping and stopping and watching for hours, and then they'll drive up and down the street. That day that it snowed, I was driving and just listening to music and whatnot in the morning on my way to the sweep, and every block I took, I would see two coming down, two going the other way, crossing back and forth. It was like heavily patrolled, and I live in a hot zone. They're not right there, like right next to where I'm at. Not at all. You know what I mean? Like, if they're like, you leave 4 blocks away, then they start moving around everywhere. And I'm like curious. So I don't know, but the mayor has ideas of a new enforcements or whatever, trying to have somebody be in charge of that, right? The enforcement, encampment, enforcement, encampment. Yeah. Also, too, there was one other thing I had to tell you guys about, and oh, yeah, our councilwoman in Denver, of District 9, right? She and several um activists, Mutual Monday, things like that, um, went and created or stayed after at the rec center as a warming spot during this time, and up until the police came, and then there was only maybe 6 homeless people, 5, 6 homeless people, and they were able to get vouchers, but the police came in there, and they were like, if you just choose to stay, you're getting arrested, and that right there is like, it's a fact. You're gonna get arrested, and they've arrested 500 people in 2 months here. There's nothing to see, it's gonna happen, and they're not trying to work with anyone until they kind of have to. But they just kept building and building more police. Right? There's like 4, and ended up being like what, 12 or something. It's crazy, and we're thankful that everybody held their ground to get at least vouchers for these people. Don't know how. At first, the police looked like they were gonna make their, which I thought shit, and they said that for, but we don't really know. The police wanted to take everybody, but thankfully the activists between that and that are gonna let him, that they would take him themselves, so they went to jail. That was, and it was cold. There was protesters, and I being in discussion where this shit just can't happen. On the screen is a tweet from around by the cold. Yeah, it happened I think on Monday. What was it? Tuesday. I was right. I'm sorry. Um, and it just kind of shows them how they.
It looks like he had his.
They just take it apart. Look. One of the cleanup could
They don't care.
We don't know who people are right there, but now get thrown away. Dinner down there when I drove by. There was nobody around. Like maybe there, what's in there? Yes, everybody go, you know. So I didn't have time to drive around. It was like getting forever to get there. Crazy how they happen. Yeah, so it shows them just basically around, people are, and a lot of that is still personal belongings, like tent. When there's all kinds of stuff back there, so it's not just all trash. We don't know what happened. I'm threatened. Could have had a whole bunch of things happen. So, this is another one. I think this was Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Same thing. This is the police though.
On these camps.
The street. See, there's somebody's tent. 2 tents right there. Cameraman. And so we're on Tuesday. The sweep. Also, they got to make up what they canceled.
Yeah, they tell them about what they did. About the councilization.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
early told that they have until 8 o'clock
This
to
Wednesday.
get all of their stuff out.
Yeah.
And 7:45, guys are trying to gather their stuff and get it over.
Yeah, this is the other side. Yeah.
Someplace else. You got 2 armed officers right over them. That's got to put a lot of pressure on.
Those officers are waiting for something to happen.
Try to figure things out.
And you just tell the boss, just nothing good, man. At the they don't even want the unhoused to get like this coffee and food, be motivated to actually have some food to go and do their shit. But they don't care about that. They're done, you know. What I mean, and right now, currently, is getting arrested, being in jail for like 6 that, keep you in jail or whatever. They're really making their criminalize not having a place. And they're like, talk about earlier in the week, Hancock's fucking legacy. Hancock lived for, leave behind, right? I'm like, vetoing menthols and fucking not having a plan for reparations. You want to give reparations. The homeboy gets a day for being whatever. He gets the whole day to himself. What else? Criminalizing the homeless. Giving them, a whole bunch of stuff. Taking their thing, harassed by the police. Away with murder. Leaves behind. Cronyism. Putting our city in what else? They never have to show your face. Being a white guy's body, a whole bunch of crazy, That's what he leaves behind. And you're gonna be the mayor, and it's gonna be a lot for you to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, family, Thank you for tuning to season 2, episode 1. Some major changes coming up. You'll enjoy them. Yeah, we'll probably be back at my probably for the next Frontline Black News. We'll see. Shabaka's Enhanced is on this block 7 standard time. Frontline Black is on Saturday at 10 p.m. And I'll probably shows back to back because I've been researching others, and I haven't decided what to talk about. I got 3 or 4 different things that are actually kind of addressed and look into, and I think that I'm gonna do some content for group PC, the education. So we're gonna be going into that of things I'm gonna bring to the just a little education. So we what's going on. And I just want to thank you for just sticking with Black News. Shabaka's enhanced. Even mine on the Reverend agenda. You really appreciate it. You just don't know. So thank you. We're now heading into 52 episodes season 2. So because we want tangible and all that good. Like
Power.
Yeah.
Peace, light, and black.
And thank you to our brother for showing the brothers. Yeah.
Peace, love, light, Armin. Thank you. Our guest showed up tonight, Chris Shimada, Shabbat Corey. Been episode 1 of season 2 of the Frontline Blacks. We will be back with a brand new episode. Make sure y'all tune in. Peace, love, light, and Black empowerment.